Op closes her blinds as a small act of revenge. Fun fact to cover spoilers. Continuing with bat facts. There are more than 1,400 species of bats worldwide. Additionally, not every species hibernates. CW. None. Mood spoiler. Slightly satisfying, but there is no resolution to the bigger issue. Less than. I am not the oop. That would be you, Tina Loco. I have edited the post slightly for readability. Closed my blinds to eliminate view recovered on the web archive. Originally posted July 3, 2021. I work in an office where the offices are arranged in quads. In my department there are 4 offices that form an L shape. One of which is mine. The department secretary's workstation is centrally located inside of the L. Something like this L. The secretary faces me. My office has an interior window and an exterior window. We're on the first floor and the secretary very much enjoys looking through my windows to the outside. Most of the employees were working from home since the shutdown, including me. The firm decided that we should all return to the office June 1st, but left the final decision up to each department head. My boss asked our opinions. I stated that I would like a hybrid schedule. He didn't like that, but he was willing to compromise to 1 day a week from home through Labor Day. The next thing I know, it's shortened to only through July 30th. When I asked why, he told me that the secretary has been complaining endlessly how it's not fair that everybody gets to work from home, but she has to be there every day. Her job is not conducive to WFH, and he just can't take it anymore. So he had to appease her. So she basically ruined what was a good thing for me because of her petty jealousy. That day I drew and closed the blinds to my interior window and they will remain closed forever. No more view for her. Update to my petty revenge. July 28, 2022. This is an update to a post from 1 year ago. In addition to having my blinds closed, I keep my office door mostly closed. It's usually ajar only a few inches. Today the secretary had an opportunity to mention that I should keep my door open more often. I replied that I prefer it closed as I'd adjusted to being isolated and felt uncomfortably exposed with it open. Her response to that was she previously liked where her desk was located because she could see the outside world. But now it's like she's working in a dark hallway. In other words, I should ignore my own needs to make her happy. My response to that was, working from home was the best work-related thing that I ever experienced, both personally and as far as productivity is concerned. If they're going to force me to work in the office full-time, I need to do it in a physical environment that works for me. That ended the conversation. She now knows without a doubt that her own pettiness turned on her and bit her in the behind. Marked as ongoing, as we may get an update at some point due to OOP's account being relatively active. Imagine making your whole team return to the office because you can't handle the complaints of one person. That is petty at its finest, as much as petty can feel good. It doesn't change the overall issue. So the boss won't do a hybrid schedule, which would probably appease everyone. So instead he gave one person out of however many people were affected by this her way, simply because she complained enough. Sounds like OOP has a manager problem on her hands. Am I the only one who thinks that the boss is also using the secretary as a scapegoat for what he wants? He wasn't pleased about hybrid either. YKNO? I used to be over by the window, and I could see the squirrels, and they were merry. 10,000% the boss didn't want hybrid and decided to blame the secretary. Not that she didn't also want people back. But since when do bosses decide based on what the secretary wants? I wish. Should have let OOP stay home and given the secretary her office. Yeah. Why can't she work from home? Or at least learn to enjoy having an entire office to herself? Through personal music, microwaving fish, or other office crimes? I look forward to further petty updates. Well, it sounds like the solution to OOP's problem is just to complain a bunch and the boss will bend to your will. I struggle to understand how a secretary cannot work remotely herself. In my last exec job, my PA was 100% remote. We were split across dozens of sites, so it was no different to her being in another office and the times I needed her in, such as minuting meetings. Pre-COVID, she would come in, and during post-pandemic, she did it on Teams. I don't mind making coffee or meeting visitors, especially as the reception staff were great. Why was her role so different? I don't really get it. Unless the secretary was working for someone who was so de-skilled in life they needed coffee making for them, running errands. The idea of fairness when it comes to hybrid working is going to be the end of hybrid working entirely. There will always be jobs that have to be done on site, and as long as some workers have to show up when others don't, with no financial compensation for it, said workers will be within their rights to complain about it. It's not fair, and it wasn't designed to be. Back in the before times, we all had to attend, and we were told it was necessary to do our jobs. Said it was fair, easy for the manager to handle. Now that we spent the better part of 2 years proving exactly how well people really can work from home, it's getting a bit more complicated, as the people who were the first to be brought back were probably also the lower earners. So now, do we have a classism thing happening? Do we need travel allowances since those who don't have to commute anymore get to keep more of their pay than a person who's coming in every day? What about electricity bills? Insurance on work devices in a non-work environment? How do we do all of this without spending any additional money? That is not so easy for the manager. So they do the simplest thing they can and force everyone back. The manager in this story is the one to blame, not the secretary. Bet you $50 the manager just blamed the secretary because he's an asshole, and now the poor old secretary doesn't get to look out of the window because of it. So, nothing that affects the boss that makes the rules. Cool. Here's the thing though, the secretary doesn't suck. The boss does. If her work isn't able to be done at home and OPs is, then explain that and shut down any further complaining. Don't force your employee to come back in the office because you don't want to hear whining. I don't understand this petty-ass secretary. I worked as a receptionist in an office where I was often one of the few people working from home. And while it was sometimes annoying and made me jealous, I actually quite liked having the whole office to myself some days. Boss is boinking the secretary, and needs everyone in the office to cover the affair. There were 4 of us during COVID who were sent home to telework. They asked us to come in once a week so someone would always be in the office. This worked for 3 of us apparently. I came in twice a week because I was team-led and had been there for years. The newest member, hired during COVID, would always ask me when we were all coming back to work in the office. I told her I was happy where I was at. She went to our boss to complain, and he told her if she wanted to come in, she could come in. She started coming in every day but complained the 3 of us weren't in. Boss came to talk to me about it, and I said everyone was getting their work done, so there was no need to come in because one person was lonely. The 3 of us got to keep our schedules, and she eventually took another job, which made all of us happy. When managers punish the whole team because of one person, things never get better. Good for her. Honestly, secretary can't have everything the way she wants. No secretary's day for her. Bad secretary. The pettiness of this story is just chef's kiss level good.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.